Welcome to this operator guide video for the Morgana AutoCut Pro. This video will help you get started with your AutoCut Pro and introduce you to some of the features. We're going to use 3 common applications to get you working quickly. We'll start by turning the unit on. The power switch is located on the right-hand side under the feed table. The feed table has a 100mm stack capacity, or 39 inches. The feeder is top-fed, uses a tri-suction feed system to ensure reliable feeding. Just load the stack toward the rear of the machine and use the magnetic paper guides to secure the stack. The AutoCut Pro comes standard with a stacker table and a business card tray. Your machine may include a belt stacker or a longer feed table with a longer stacker tray. Opening the top cover, you'll see 3 different components: the slitter unit, the knife, and the crease blade. The AutoCut Pro has 4 slitter units. Now, units 1 and 4 are for slitting the top and bottom margins. Units 2 and 3 are for slitting through the sheet. These units apply a fixed gutter cut of 7mm or 0.28 inches. This is to accommodate the images laid out on the page. The knife is used to cut in the cross-process direction. Finally, the crease blade adds creases across the paper process direction as well. The AutoCut Pro comes standard with 2 different slitting guides. These guides make it easy to correctly position the slitting units. If your region uses metric, one guide is for setting the machine up for business cards. The second guide enables many different applications. It converts a 320mm wide sheet to A3, multiple A4s, A5s, or A6s. If your region uses US or imperial measurement, one slitting guide is for business cards and postcards. The second guide is for slitting a 12-inch wide sheet to 11 inches for bleed trim. It's also possible to order custom slitting guides from your dealer to match your own unique applications. The system has a color display to guide you through job setup. Now, there are 3 different modes for programming the AutoCut Pro: preset, manual set, and flex mode. We're going to start with the preset mode, which works for many of the jobs you're likely to do. From the preset menu, you start by choosing the standard paper formats common to your region. Depending on the sheet size you select, you will then get a range of choices. We've selected SRA3 in this case. We then have these options: 2 different business card menus, photo menu, SRA3 cut down to A3, A4, or A5 4 up, A6 8 up, and 4 different creasing menus. If you have a US or imperial version of the AutoCut Pro, you'll have different but similar menus. Let's take what we've learned so far and run a common job: business cards. Here's an SRA3 sheet printed with 21 up business cards. This is a common imposition format. First, we mount the business card slitting guide. Align with the mark for SRA3, tighten these knobs, and just make sure the slitting unit locking levers are snug. Next, enter the preset mode. Select SRA3, choose business cards, and press OK. The machine sets itself up. Press Start. Business cards are delivered to the standard business card tray, ready to box and ship. Of course, not every job will conform to a so-called standard. For these jobs, we may start with the preset mode and use manual set mode to modify any of the existing templates. Here's an example. We start with the same business card template we just used. Select Manual Set Mode. These business cards are not 55mm, they are 57mm in size. In order to accommodate the larger card, we need to change the position of the knife cut length. There, That's it. Now you're ready to run this unique job. Another application you'll want to run is postcards. This is commonly prepared as 8 cards imposed on a sheet. And while the finished size will vary by region, the principle is exactly the same. We started by exchanging the slitting guide for postcards. We now return to the preset menu and once again select SRA3. Then browse to the A6 setting. In other regions, you'd select 4 inches by 6 inches. Press OK, and the machine sets up for this job. Here you see the finished postcard shingled on the optional belt stacker. I'll now show you how to take a 660mm or 26-inch sheet and convert it into a full bleed 6-panel brochure. We'll use the AutoCut Pro to trim the lead and trail edges, bleed trim the top and bottom, and apply 2 creases. We'll also finish off by showing the optional AutoFold Pro. Start by extending the optional tray extension and load the sheets onto the feed table. We're going to program this job using Flex Mode. Flex Mode gives you the flexibility to set up to 20 different positions for creasing or cutting. For this job, we'll begin by setting the sheet length, which is 660mm. If you have a registration mark, you key in the position of the mark. We'll come back to the registration mark in just a minute. By touching the arrow button on the right side of the screen, you enter the next menu where you set the cut distance from the lead edge. In this case, it's 15mm. Press the square next to the measurement to choose Cut. The number in the upper right corner of the screen helpfully counts down to indicate what is left of the sheet to program. Next, we program the location of the crease, which in this case is 210mm from the first cut location. This time we'll choose the crease option. The second crease is 210mm from the first crease. You get the idea. Finally, we program the trail edge by inputting the distance from the last crease. In this case, we'll select 209mm rather than 210. We do that because this gives us a fold with a better fit across the 3 panels. Here we go. By attaching the optional Morgana AutoFold Pro, we get this finished piece. Now your job may include a registration mark to compensate for image shift that can occur in some printing processes. If that's the case, it's possible to select registration mark from the main menu. The system will then read the mark and compare this to the cut or crease location you've programmed. The cut or crease will be applied to match the mark. This will ensure that you can cut in the right place even if the image has drifted on the sheet. In manual speed mode, you have the option of adjusting the different elements of machine operation, such as speed and feeding adjustments. You can also cycle the cutter knife to make it easier to clear a jam stuck in the knife blade area. For sheets that are not exactly square, there's an easy adjustment to compensate for skew. When you lift the top cover, you can see an adjustment lever for creasing depth. You can select from 5 different positions to match the media you are running. For stiffer media, a deeper crease may give a better appearance. The rollers in the AutoCut Pro are detachable with an easy push on the shaft for cleaning and jam clearance. Thanks for taking time to learn more about the AutoCut Pro. For more information, refer to the operator manual that came with your system.